Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News, and the big question at the moment is with SicK not returning to the last chance qualifier for Sentinels as we saw a few days ago, which player is going to come in and replace him? ShahZaM says that their coach Raucus is not going to be the man replacing him in the team. Is it Zoms? Is it Sinatraa? Is it someone else? Definitely intrigued to your perspective in the comments section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you were new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Got a load of new subs yesterday as well. Let's crack straight on with things here. Firstly, I thought this is very interesting of note actually. There's a lot of drama yesterday in the GameChangers side. There's actually a LAN going on right now, I believe, for GameChangers in the Brazilian scenes. That's awesome to see as well. But in North America, effectively there's a closed qualifier going on right now that's going to qualify into the main event in, well, a little bit of time. And this I thought was interesting going from Covert Val, kind of, well, some crazy statistical analysis, looking at the average tech pause length. Because certainly technical difficulties were, well, a big talking point last night in the GameChanger scene. But this I thought was an interesting graph, looking at Reykjavik 2021, Berlin 2021. As of late, it's generally these tech pauses have been getting less and less, but still 4 or 5 minutes. I suppose it's not the end of the world, but I mean, yeah, still interesting to see. The tech pauses do seem to be so prevalent, but of course, look, finally it seems right to putting on a proper event here for Masters Copenhagen. There's going to be a crowd there, finally making VALORANT look like a proper esport, I suppose, on the international stage. So certainly looking forward to it. I believe July the 10th is when Masters officially kicks off, not with the crowd though quite as of yet. So anyway, last night the Game Changer stuff was going on. Cloud9 White's the best, well, female team in certainly the North American side, if not the world. They forfeited their match here in the first round in the winners bracket. They had a forfeit loss because two of us are having issues with our tourney client, so we were late. Us and Immortals were in a lobby. Both of us want to play the match. Please let us play. So this is quite the situation here, because we saw not long ago, even you can see this tweet here from Derek Dennis in the replies, because we had the situation with FaZe a couple of weeks ago, right? They played that match, like the internet went out to the Starbucks like boot camp or whatever they were doing, and therefore like by the time they got back, they weren't quite in position to get the job done in the final map of the series, except won that and went on to of course become the champions of North America. But they said at the time here, Riot, that because of this issue, they weren't going to enforce a forfeit, right? They were just going to give it some time, and hopefully it worked out as it eventually did. But like there were initially some talks on Flyer that they were going to forfeit them, and then that, well, Riot eventually said no, that's not going to be the case. We're not going to forfeit anyone. No, well, seemingly that went out the window for this particular situation, and definitely a different situation, right? Certainly what's being said on Twitter is different to what Riot themselves had to say, at least on the situation, in terms of why this forfeit came through. And the fact that it was actually the team's fault for this one. So yeah, they had a forfeit loss, issues with the tournament clients. Now, people were really frustrated about this, right? Because Immortals themselves, they really wanted to play Cloud9 White, right? They didn't want to just get this free victory, get the forfeit victory. They wanted to play the best team in the world. They've been looking forward to this, as Kay says here from Immortals. Haven't got to face Cloud9 since I was trash of the game. Really looking forward to seeing how far myself and my team have come. Frustrated with both teams, and even as Tupperware says, we're trying to get around this as of now, but Cloud9 was DQ'd and we get the series. I was so ready for it. So crazy to see, like both teams wanted to play each other, but Riot says no, that's not going to happen. Even if you want to, like you're getting the forfeit win effectively anyway. And it was Immortals that eventually got through the closed qualifier and qualified guarantee. We'll see the bracket here in a second. And Cloud9 are down in losers bracket. They still aren't out of it just yet, Cloud9 White. But I mean, yeah, this was crucially to note here, because effectively, like for some reason, whenever I click on this website, I'll just do it again. When I click on this website, the link just doesn't work for me, and it just takes me to this page. It doesn't matter what browser I go on. This website, ValorantEsports.com, does not work for me at all. So I can't actually look at the full ruling. But effectively, this was a key snippet from it here, where Riot are explaining why this happened, and effectively they're putting all the blame on Cloud9 White and the communication from their side. So basically, they were 15 minutes late already, and the coach had not given them any information. Like, if the coach had told Riot, and like the tournament organizer, like, hey, yeah, we're having issues here, like a couple of our players are having issues with the tournament clients, like, you know, maybe give us a few extra minutes if that's okay. And yes, of course, there's a stream to be had, like, there's tournament production organization type stuff to be considered here. But look, at the same time, if the coach had said to, apparently this is what Riot is saying, the coach didn't tell them a word, and therefore by 15 minutes after the scheduled match based on the rules, the coach just said, well, your guys aren't here, so, you know, you're going to get forfeited effectively. And then just a couple of minutes after they were forfeited, they then started joining the lobby. This, of course, is the, well, tailor event from Riot and the tournament organizers' perspective. And then 4 minutes after they were forfeited, a coach for Cloud9 White indicated the team experienced tech issues, right? So they're saying, look, we didn't know about this before the forfeit was issued. Now, look, then again, you could argue, like, yeah, the forfeit was issued, but, you know, still, at the end of the day, okay, bad communication, but, you know, surely just think, okay, well, look, the other team wants to play, we're 20 minutes behind schedule, it is what it is, let's just let them play anyway. The players are in the lobby, we're ready to go, but the forfeit's been issued, you know, can we reverse the forfeit? Does it really matter? Like, I'm sure there's some nuance to this discussion that could have been had, but Riot said, no, we issued the forfeit, that's how it is. Like, I'm probably, like, Cloud9 White and the coaching staff, based on that information, maybe only have themselves to blame here, but even who knows, if the coach did talk to Riot, who knows if they would have done anything anyway, because if the rules are that 15 minutes and you're not in, then unlucky girls, you're not playing the match anyway. So interesting situation really. Like, and as Mel says, shout out to Immortals, they didn't want a free win, they were eager to play the match, even though they could have claimed a forfeit victory fair and square. See you guys in the main event, I'm sure. So Mel's still confident they can get through the losers bracket, but we were late 2 minutes past the leeway window when we got the forfeit loss. Sorry to the fans, time to reset and win out the rest of them, right? Even as Alexis says, only way to beat Cloud9 to make them play on a glitched client, right? So that was kind of the issue they were having. They couldn't join in time, and therefore, well, things didn't work out quite as planned. In losers bracket, of course, 0-1 versus SicK problems, says Jazzy, but I mean, look, they're trying to make the run here as well. Even as Hayes says there was some reaction for the kind of the players in the men's side, like Hayes like, you know, unreal, like, what's even happening right here? And even Valenti says clown behavior from the admins, right? So yeah, well, no one's happy all across the board on this issue, to be honest. And even Bob says recent, well, joinee of the team, when I was competing in Sonics for VCT, we had multiple 40+ minute delays because of both our enemy and our own tech issues, and there was never an issue. And now just got disqualified in GameChangers because of a few minutes tech delay caused by client issues, right? It wasn't even their fault necessarily. I guess you could argue it was their fault for not telling right in time, but like, I mean, still, the actual tournament client issues were what was causing them the problems, and then they get forfeited for that. So look, at the end of the day, it might not matter for them because they're probably just going to qualify anyway, but still a situation where it doesn't really paint anyone in a particularly good light. Definitely tweet your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. This is how the bracket worked out. CLG Red, I believe, are the team with Ethan's fiance Kelly, like, and I'm pretty sure they fell down eventually in the losers bracket. But you can see right here, Cloud9 White were dropping down to a pretty good seeding. They got forfeited against Immortals. They dropped down to losers. They took down Zero Marksman, and then they played Gen.G Black to move on in the tournament today and tomorrow. So more than likely that they'll still qualify regardless here for the main event in the North American side for Series 2 of GameChangers. But again, not an ideal situation all across the board. Let's talk Sentinels then. So we saw this clip a couple of days ago where ShahZaM said that SicK is not returning for the LCQ. A big storyline, of course, because like, well, SicK said he was okay, like he was ready to go again, like whatever difficulties he's been dealing with, family stuff, like mental health issues. It seemed like it was all going to be okay. He seemed like he was feeling well, but unfortunately that might not be the case, right? So anyway, hopefully he's back in due course, but of course they've got a boot camp coming up, right, Sentinels? They can't really afford to do this boot camp, at least that they mentioned that they're going to be doing one without their full roster. They've got pretty much to choose a roster to go with, you know, practice with them at the boot camp, and hope that works out. And of course, Raucus being the coach of the team, there was questions because he subbed in for them at the end of the main event in stage 2, that whether he would be the guy to step into this roster and actually, well, take them through the rest of the season. And if that's the case to the LCQ, you feel like, okay, with their coach subbing in, they've realistically got no chance to actually do anything here. However, ShahZaM says that's not the case. Raucus is not going to be the man in the team, and saying that it's another guy that's going to step into that 5th spot, and says that no one will ever guess who it is. Do you believe ShahZaM that no one will ever guess, or is he being sarcastic? And well, saying that there's a couple of key names that it might well be.
Oh my god. Is Rockets playing LCQ? No. You will never be able to guess who's playing LCQ.
So we saw this from SicK, of course, in 21st of June, like struggling with some difficulties. He seemed to be, he was okay, hopefully return to competitive soon, but ShahZaM said, look, that's not going to be the case for last chance qualifier. Who knows if they get through the LCQ qualify for champs, well, their team will be there, but more than likely, if they do manage to qualify through the LCQ for the World Championship, they'll probably keep the roster they did that with, which probably won't include SicK right now, but like, SicK's a massive loss for this team. There's no other way to look at it. Now, which players might they potentially be considering? Sinatraa, like, I don't think, like, realistically, I don't think there's any chance that Sinatraa comes in, but honestly, who knows? Like, this was happening, of course, when TenZ was having his issues and SicK was having his issues, and they needed a substitute for the roster. There was talk about bringing Sinatraa in, and when Kanpeki joined the team for Zoms, there was some talk about, okay, could Sinatraa come back because he's done his training now and he should theoretically be ready to go? Could they bring him in? He says here the 28th of May they want to keep it fair by not subbing him in, right? So like, definitely tweet your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. The more likely option, and like maybe they go for another player like a Kanpeki or something who's out there they could potentially target, but the more likely option probably, even though there has been some drama between this individual and the players themselves, I'm not sure if Zoms has actually made a statement on this either on stream. If you guys know, definitely let me know in the comment section below. But of course, that's none other than Zoms, right? Of course, was on this team formerly, dropped from the team not that long ago. We saw a bit of drama between him and like the likes of dapr and the rest of the squad as well. That like maybe there is some friction there because Zoms seems pretty frustrated, maybe understandably, that he got benched in the team initially, and now maybe they're asking him to return, right? Because when this whole SicK situation, the TenZ when he was unwell situation was going on, Zoms kind of said he was asked last minute for one particular series, like at 2, well, to substitute in for them. He decided not to because, okay, no practice, whatever, like I'll just look bad effectively and won't help the team win anyway. But then the week after, he was like, okay, look, I've had more time to prepare here, more time to watch the team and potentially play. And then he did say that he actually offered to Raucus to play in the remainder of the games when Raucus just subbed in anyway, right? This is the thing that makes me think maybe it's not Zoms, and maybe like actually ShahZaM is not being sarcastic when he says no one will ever guess, because the team already denied Zoms. Like Zoms said, I can come back if I want to play, like if you want me to play, then I'll do it for the remaining games at the last of the main event, sorry. And then they didn't do that, right? They said, okay, no Zoms, we don't want to play with you, like we're going to have Raucus in anyway. And maybe now they think, okay, you know, probably having a proper player, like Raucus is a proper player, but like we need a player and a coach, ideally. Like, you know, if our coach is playing for us, we don't have a coach, which obviously isn't so ideal either. And maybe if that is the situation, then okay, Zoms does just come back. Or could it be another player as well? So definitely tweet your thoughts on this. Zoms seemed, at least a couple of weeks ago, eager to play. Whether the team allows him to do that is another question. Is it Sinatraa? That's another question entirely. I'm sure the timeline would explode if that was the case. And well, maybe they have to consider it, right, given the possibilities and the player, the caliber of the player in SicK that they are trying to replace on this roster. Or could it be another player entirely, right? Because you've got to consider the possibilities of other players that didn't make the last chance qualifier. You've got to look at teams like version 1 and other, like, well, talented teams with good players that didn't make it. Is it possible that Sentinels reach out and say, hey, we want to get this guy to our roster for the rest of the year, which also might be a viable option as well. So definitely tweet your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tell us in YouTube gods, this is a good video, and as like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive VALORANT community. Thank you as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
Teleport's ready. Nobody site, 2 main, 1 market.